Micheal Pope.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. My name is Micheal Pope, and I am the host of, I got a piece of hair sticking out here, hold on. I am the host of Life is a Sacred Journey, and I want to thank you so much for getting up on this cold, frosty Friday morning to spend about 30 minutes hanging out with me here at Life is a Sacred Journey. I want to, first of all, thank again and say Happy New Year to all the guests that have been a part of Life is a Sacred Journey. We couldn't have done what we have done without you. And for those that I've had the opportunity to meet face to face or just to really build an intentional relationship with, this I'm so honored. You know, I was just had a meeting today. Actually, let me go back a little bit. I'm taping this on Thursday night because tomorrow I have a meeting that I have to be at early in the morning, and so it interferes with our broadcast time. But I wanted to make sure that, you know, we always show up on Friday morning at Life is a Sacred Journey. So it's Thursday night, but I already know it's going to be cold in the morning, and you're dealing with frost and all of that. So get warm, get your cup of coffee. I had to go get another cup of coffee. Go get your cup of tea, your juice, or whatever it is that you're drinking to keep you refreshed during this next 25, 30 minutes here at Life is a Sacred Journey. Please hit the share button and let other people know that we are even pre-broadcast, live, or whatever, or share your thoughts about how Life is a Sacred Journey has some topics that you have really been interested in and been able to use, whether you're a parent or a caregiver, care partner, paid or unpaid, or just somebody who has supported Life is a Sacred Journey, or someone who is supporting me, Micheal Pope. Thank you so much for everything that you have done throughout the years. And a big shout out to Felicia for her support and everything that she does. So let's get in to this pondering. I do not know what number pondering it is. I know that Felicia told me, but I've forgotten. So hit the share button. Share me with some other absent-minded people that you think you know. There's things that are shared with me at a certain time of the day, and then I'll forget, and then I'll remember on the ride home. But I never forget to show up for you every Friday morning at 8 a.m. right here. Life is a Sacred Journey. So let's get into today's topics. I want to start because here in the state of California, the news was abuzz this morning, and I'm sure it will be and continue to be throughout the weekend about the state budget. You know, the California state budget. All cities and states across the country are looking at budgets. We are beginning to design our budget here at Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay. But I want to talk about a place where you can help. I think I brought it up a couple of weeks ago. This afternoon, I had the honor of meeting with one of our legislative folks here at Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay. And what we were talking about is raising the CBAS rates, meaning community-based adult services, which this model is. I just want to tell you a few things, and then I'm going to get off my political bandwagon, but this is important. The rate for the Medi-Cal published CBAS rate, community-based adult service, adult day healthcare rate, is $76.27 a day. Let me repeat that for you. I don't even know if you can imagine. $76.27 a day. And actually, under the Medi-Cal benefit, a day is 4 hours. So I'm going to do the math because I did it earlier, but I didn't write it down. But I think this is really, really important. 76.27 divided by 4 is $19.06. And if you round it up, $19.07. Okay, so stay with me for a minute. Just please stay with me for a minute. $19.07 is what my organization and other organizations are given that provide this service. But let me tell you what we have to have, what is regulatory. We cannot open, we're not allowed to hold a license on the wall if we don't have these things. Bachelor's, an RN who is a BSN, who has a bachelor's in nursing. A physical therapist, trained and with at least 2 to 5 years experience. An occupational therapist, which, by the way, we haven't been able to recruit anybody since the Great Resignation, because no occupational therapist wants to come and work for a nonprofit. They're all going to therapy clinics and things like that. We're so blessed to have the physical therapist that we have, and that she's vested to this population. Not putting anybody down, just reality and fact. Okay, so I've already given you 3 positions. We have a medical advisor, an MD, a doctor, and through the grace of God and the universe, she doesn't charge us a lot, but she does get paid. Okay, we have a pharmacist who comes and does looks at the medications and makes sure that we're getting rid of any medications that may have expired. It's oversight. Pharmacist. We have a dietitian who comes and looks at the care plan to ensure that the dietary aspects of the care are looked at, that the lunch that we serve is appropriate and meets the needs, the special needs of our folks living with multiple diagnoses, not just Alzheimer's and dementia, but multiple diagnoses, high blood pressure, diabetes, all of that. We have to have a 16-to-1 paid staff ratio of individuals that are on the floor, prize incredible individuals that lead the activities so the people aren't bored, and that they get out for their daily walk, AM and PM walk, that they go up to the bookstore and buy books, that we have musicians. We had a wonderful young woman today that came in during her lunch break from Berkeley High, yes, that's what I said, and played the piano while the participants ate lunch during her lunch break. All of that staff, and I think you know how much nurses make and physical therapists. You can look it up. Go to Google. We Google other stuff. Google that. And $19.07, whatever it came out, that amount, does not cover. And we're required to have a lunch, a very wonderful lunch, and we go and we purchase the food ourselves and all of that. So we do all of these things to ensure that the program, one, is licensed appropriately and that we have the right staff in the building. And here's the kicker. The other piece of the puzzle is the licensing fee is $10,800 a year for all the oversight as from the Department of Aging, and a piece of paper that hangs on the wall. That's kind of how I feel about my college degree. It's like I spent a lot of money on it and it's just a piece of paper on the wall. Yes, I got some knowledge and all of that, but the piece of paper means more to other people than it does to me, because I bled to get that piece of papers, okay? So I'm not understanding how this model is expected to even stay in the community long term. And I sometimes question, I try not to be a conspiracy theorist, but I question whether or not this is all being deliberately done so that the model goes away. Just a question. And I will say this to you, and I hope that I don't hurt anyone's feelings, but the majority of the individuals that are Medi-Cal eligible in the state of California are brown and Black people. And so I have to question, when monies are being put in other areas of the healthcare continuum, but not in the one where it does the best good. People who come to adult day healthcare, white or Black, have less emergency room visits. They are healthier because they're getting out and engaging in the world. Depression is less. Anxiety is less. Some of them have actually increased their mini mental score, or their MOCA score, a standard of testing that is done to figure out where someone is in their cognition. Their numbers have gone up, not down. Some have plateaued and maintained, but still have a sense of coming and doing something. And because we practice Montessori, many of them have tasks within the program that help them to feel engaged and supportive throughout the day. All of that costs the state, when we get reimbursed, $19.07 an hour, or 70, what did I say it was? I'm sorry, $76.27. And we're expected to thrive. And I feel like a walrus jumping through hoops, meeting deadlines and all of that, even though the great resignation hit us hard, and we are now without multiple positions now because of COVID again, the rise of COVID. We want to get a raise to at least $122.42. There has not been a raise to this model since July of, since 2023. Oh no, 2000, let me get this right. There hasn't been an increase between July 2009 and July 2023. So that's a long time. No increase. I don't know. We've been very lucky here in Alameda County. Thank you, Alameda Alliance, for the very wonderful support that you have given us over the years and given the people that you serve over the years. I also want to thank the Veterans Administration from out of San Francisco, Palo Alto, Martinez, that have supported the veterans that we serve. But it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle in such a way that a rate increase, we would be already behind, even when the rate increase happens. We had to mortgage our building in order to make it through the pandemic, to the tune of $450,000. We had to close a center in Fremont where we were paying rent, even though we were unable to provide services for 2.5, almost 3 years because of the pandemic. We had to close our Hayward site because the rents were going up so quickly that we couldn't keep up with it because of $76.27. Anybody in their right mind, anybody with any knowledge or MBA, I don't care, anybody, you don't even have to be an educated business person, knows that $76.27 doesn't do very much. Oh, by the way, did I tell you we provide transportation? And it costs $100 a day to fill the tank of one of our vans. So there's your $76.27. It's already gone. I haven't had an assistant. I had an assistant for a little over a year. A really good friend of mine came to help me, and I'm just so thankful to her. But she fulfilled her time commitment to me, and she has moved on. But prior to that, I went 8 years without an assistant, and I'm without an assistant again. But when I say that to the powers that be, they don't care. They won't allow you to pay the license fee, a little half here, a little half there. And at the same time, we also have to pay property tax on our building because we own it, even though we had to mortgage it again. So we need your help, community. We need you to write our governor, Governor Newsom, and let him know that Adult Day Healthcare Services, community-based CBAS, community-based adult services, can no longer be the low-hanging fruit that every time we lose money or the budget gets a little wonky, we cut that money, those dollars, to our seniors. and make it impossible for programs to start. When I came to ACEP, I believe it was in 97, something like that. I believe there were over 600 or something adult day healthcare programs throughout the state of California. And now I believe it's 290 or something like that. So you can see what happens. Now, if you're a large corporation, and that's why a lot of for-profits have done it, because they can get a license for 200 people, they can get a building that's huge and do economy of scale. But for Alzheimer's services of the East Bay, we are licensed for 60 people a day in this building, and that's why we had multiple locations trying to earn more so we could pay more and benefits and all of those things. So Governor Newsom needs a letter. Your district, your senators for your district area, a call to the district office if you know who that person is, and really just saying, let's make adult day healthcare, CBAS, CBAS, a permanent offering from the Medi-Cal system. Right now, we're considered an ancillary service, so you can have it if you can, or not have it. We don't really care. I think it's time. I've been here 26 years, something like that. Yeah. And we've been fighting this battle the whole entire time. There hasn't been 1 year that we haven't been fighting for the rights of those who are Medi-Cal eligible, or seniors, or their families, or poor people, or brown and black people. Ageism, racism, ableism are inherent in the medical system that we have. And we need to do a better job, and we need to help people and meet them where they are. The word today is intentionality, and we need to be intentional. And we need to support these individuals who contributed to the state of California when they could. They didn't just come here and get old and need support. They were here in a time in their life, as I said earlier in a presentation. I find it interesting that children and elders are the two humanity groups that we just struggle to figure out what to do with them. And we say we invest in the children because, oh, the children are the future. And then we kind of invest in our seniors, but I don't know. Do we just want them to die and go away, even though we have medical and longevity now because of better medicines and food and all of those things? I'm not saying that that is it, but these are my ponderings. And this is what I ponder every day. I worry about the payroll. I worry about whether or not we have enough money for the gas. Of, oh Lord, please don't let a van break down and we need to replace the transmission, because it's cheaper to replace the transmission than it is to buy another van. But yet we need a new van because if the transmission is breaking down, other things are going to break down as well. So I've done enough. That's enough of that conversation. And I usually don't like to go there, but I think that you need to know what's going on, and you may never need adult day healthcare services. And I pray that you don't need community-based adult services. But I need to tell you, we're not the only ones we're not the only healthcare, senior care, caregiver organization that isn't being recognized as a viable part of the community. It is by those that use it. It is by those who understand the relevance, but our government officials don't always understand. And now it's sexy to say we're putting money into housing. It's sexy to say we're putting money into all these other things, because that's something that we know we all, including myself, are fighting for. I've been doing a lot of seeing a lot of elders that are homeless or unsheltered out here on these cold, rainy nights. And of course, I'm against that. But I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know who to talk to. I'm so thankful to Senator Nancy Skinner's office, and her district director came and visited with us today here at Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay, just to learn and understand what we do here and the relevance and importance of our programming. We need everybody to come out of that ivory tower up in Sacramento and come out here into the world and see what is happening to your constituents while you're warm and safe in the Capitol building. It's not to beat you up. We want to be partners with you. We've been begging to be partners with you. You know, and it's okay to sit in the room and go, oh, you know, we do the best we can. But there's a woman the very same age as me living under the underpass at that curve where the gingerbread house used to be. She's unsheltered. She was unsheltered last night in the rain. It was 37 degrees when I woke up this morning. Even in my house, I woke up, my house was cold. I can't imagine what it was like for her. So I'm just saying, the time is now. The budget just is come out and we're starting to talk about it. And February is too late. It needs to happen now. So pick up the phone, leave a message, send a, I was going to say, send a fax, send an email, do whatever you feel most comfortable with, but be a voice that saves these programs for people that you might love down the road or family members that might need it, and help us to save adult day healthcare, community-based adult services by raising the rate of reimbursement for our services and lowering or giving us a break for the licensing fee. And I will thank you, and I appreciate you, and so do the 60+ seniors that come in and out of the doors of Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay. We appreciate you. I want to next talk about, because this is something that I learned, and it's very important that we talk about this, because I knew this was happening, but I didn't know it had happened on such a large level. The new revelation about living arrangement trends of persons living with dementia. It's an article that was put out on January 3rd, 2024 by Advanced Senior Care by Paige, I believe it's pronounced Surelli. And this is an incredible article. And I'm not going to read it to you word by word, but the spot that I want to read to you so that you understand, again, this is just a footnote to the previous conversation. Research. There was research reviewed, data reviewed from 2015 to 2021. So 2015, 2021, pandemic happening in 2021, and found that the majority of persons living with dementia lived at home. We know that. A lot, almost 82% of the people we care for live at home. However, the percentage of those living at home who lived with others declined from 59% in 2015 to 49% in 2021. That's a 10% decrease. That's a lot. The proportion of those who are living alone rose from 16 to 22% in 2021. So that means 22% of those living, of people with dementia, diagnosis of dementia, meaning they could have Alzheimer's or stroke dementia, whatever dementia they have, because remember I've taught you, dementia is the word that holds the symptoms, okay? It's not a separate disease by itself. It is a manifestation of a disease, Alzheimer's or stroke or whatever, okay? Because it means memory loss, can't focus, time and space, spatial problems. It holds the symptoms. Okay. 22% of those individuals are living alone since 2021. It is now 2023, and I'm sure that percentage has grown. We have people here that live alone. And they come here from 9 to 3 every single day. They get a warm lunch. The doctor looks at their care plan. The nurse makes sure they get their medications, and they go home. They live alone, but they maybe have a neighbor downstairs that listens out, or a neighbor down the street, or a family member that comes and makes sure that they're safe at night, that their alarm is set, all those kinds of things. They're still capable of being alone. But if we didn't have them coming to our adult day healthcare program for at least a minimum of 4 hours a day, that's a long time to be alone in your home if you're experiencing memory loss of any kind. So I shared that with you because I think you need information. You need clarity on that information and the impact of it, so that you understand as you're discussing making care plans for your own families, thinking and discussing what your mom or dad or loved one might need down the road. But we need to do something, because we shouldn't have a 67, 68-year-old unsheltered individual living on the streets, and particularly not on the streets as we knew them to be in the last 3 or 4 days. So help us. Let's get out there. Let's do some advocacy as a humanity. Let's be warriors about the social justice issues that we know are wrong and that we're not doing the right thing, or we're not paying enough attention to. And you'll feel better. You'll feel real good. I want to also now move into another topic that I've been thinking a lot about, and it's about the new year. It's been a rough new year. I can't believe it's only 12 days. When you watch this tomorrow, it'll be 12 days. 12 days since 2024 started. And we've already had a mass shooting. We've already had, we moved into 2024 with war happening and lives being taken across the planet. We have a migration of people who are running from societies that are making it impossible for them to earn a livable wage or to take care of their families. We have people yelling at each other and debating with each other, but not yet having intentional conversations that include our well-being at all. 2024 is only 12 days old. We've had people upset with each other to the point where they're hurting each other. Domestic violence. That's also something that has raised its ugly head again on the news in 2024. It never went away, but now it's back again, and we're seeing sexual assault happening to not just women but men across the world. I don't know when we will decide that as a humanity that life is just so important. Being in the winter season of my life, I'm holding on to life because it is a gift, and it is the only thing that I mean, I don't know. I think that I have a soul, and I believe my soul will go somewhere and be somewhere, but I will never be Micheal Pope again once I die. So I'm trying to hold on to a life, but I also feel that life is so wonderful and such a great thing. But when a woman can't pump her gas without somebody accosting her and taking her purse, her pocketbook out of the car, and then also hitting her and accosting her, what have we done wrong? We keep pointing finger at other people, but we raised a society of people who behave, and we say like animals. No, they're not behaving like animals, because animals don't behave that way. That's not true. We lie on each other. We talk about each other where we don't even go to the person and talk to the person. We talk about the person with a group of other people. Then we come back and use that ammunition from the group of other people to make that person feel like less than best. So I don't know, friends. I keep saying I want to be the change in the world. I want people to be the change in the world. But when we can't agree to disagree without hatred, without trying to hurt, and without speaking the truth from the heart in a way that's loving and caring and inquisitive, we've missed the mark. And children are watching us. Generations of children have watched us. And then we wonder why they're going out and doing these heinous things and have no regard for life itself. It's a no-brainer for me. So on this pondering, I'm saying, can we change the world for Forrest, for Louis, for Liv, for all the young people in my life, for the teenagers in my life, for the young adults in my life, for my own grandchild? Can't we just try to change the world just a little bit? Can't we just move the needle a little bit? I don't know. We still have time in 2024. It's only the 12th day. Is hope possible? Is change possible? And if it is, how do you change? How do I change? And how do we take that change into the world? I don't know the answer to none of this. These are just my ponderings and what I think about, what wakes me up at 3 a.m. in the morning when I'm so tired and I really need that extra couple of hours of sleep, but I can't sleep anymore because the stuff is going through my head. And I'm worried about a child that somebody has neglected somewhere. I'm worried about the woman that I met under the underpass. I'm worried. Am I doing enough? Could I have done something different? I don't know the answers to any of that. But I do know the time has come that we need to do something in this world. 2024 needs to be the year that we make a resolution and a change to be something different and to change this world. I don't know. I think it's time. I think it's time. So those are kind of the things that I've been pondering. They've been on my mind for a couple of days, and I wanted to share them with you. And I wanted to share this with you. It's called The Paradox. Oops, there you go. The Paradox of Age. I want to read it to you. And it's from the 14th Dalai Lama. The Paradox of Our Age. We have bigger houses, but smaller families. More conveniences, but less time. We have more degrees, but less sense. Whoa. More knowledge, but less judgment. More experts, but more problems. More medicines, but less healthiness. We've been all the way to the moon and back, but have trouble crossing the street to meet the new neighbor. We've built more computers to hold more information to produce more copies than ever, but we have less communication. We have become long on quantity, but short on quality. These are the times of fast food, but slow digestion. Tall man, but short character. Steep profits, but shallow relationships. It's a time when there is much in the window, but nothing in the room. Wow. The paradox of our age. And again, that's from His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. That's the paradox. I have so much junk. I've got 2 and 3 of some things. I've been thinking about that myself. It's time for me to get rid of this stuff and purge, and I've been purging like everything. So there's some of you out there that I love and adore. I'm going to be sending you some stuff that I just need not have anymore. And it'll be better in your hands because you deserve it. And I want you to have it in case something happens to me and I don't get a chance to give it to you in person. Time to move things through, move things on, have less stuff to carry, less things to dust, less things to see, and start really being intentional about the connection of life, the connection of humanity, the connection of people. I hope to live out the rest of my days in that way. I don't know how much longer I have on this planet. None of us do. But I'm going to try to do the best that I can. And I hope that you will come along with us. There's people like Kathy Kamai and Jill Osser. Dr. Pearl. All the people that have come to Life is a Sacred Journey. Go back and watch our podcast and see some of these incredible life warriors that are trying to change the trajectory of how we manifest life and bump into each other and have us to bump into more gently. And I hope that 2024 brings you nothing but peace, joy, happiness, abundance. And I don't mean money. I don't mean money. Abundance of heart, abundance of spirit. So before I leave you today, I'm going to do a couple of ifs because you guys love these ifs. Thank you to all of you on TikTok and Instagram that are loving these ifs. I hope you love them too. I've chose a couple of them. I love this one. If you had to name the most important invention in history, what would win? Whoa. If you had to name the most important invention, invention, in history, what would win? Let me see. I don't know for me. Let me think. I think the telephone, and not the cell phone, but the telephone. I think the telephone, I actually put a landline back in my house because I'm sick of the cell phone. It's never charged. I have to charge it. I'm sick of it. So the telephone is the invention that's most important to me and history, and that is the one that would win. What is it for you? The next question, let's see. If you had to choose the best song ever composed, which one would it be? Oh, wow. I don't know if I could pick just one, but one of my favorite songs, every single time I get a chance to put it on, I listen to it. It's Zoom by the Commodores. I think that came out in the late 70s, early 80s. Oh my gosh, that is my favorite. To this day, when I play it, I cry because when that song came out, I was living probably my worst life and I was not feeling good. I had a worst life. Nobody was doing anything to me, but I was living my worst life. And that song came out, and I'll never forget when they said, Zoom, I'd like to fly away. And that took me, because that's exactly how I was feeling at that moment. I wanted to fly away from that situation and from that place that I was. I wanted to get away to find a place that's fresh and clear. And remember that. Because it wasn't fresh and clear in my head, in my heart, in my universe. And I was manifesting it. It wasn't anybody doing it. It was just the way it was. So that's my favorite song. Zoom by the Commodores. Anybody that was around in that time frame, write in the chat what you felt about that song, or write your song. The best song ever composed, which one would it be for you? So for me, it's not the best song ever composed, but it had the best impact on me at a time when things were not going well. Okay. Oh, wow. If you had to select the most beautiful face in history, whose face would you pick? If you had to select the most beautiful face in history, whose face would you pick? My granddaughter, in this moment, has the most beautiful face that I've ever seen. And it's because I love her, and she's a reflection of my love for her mother and father and my son and yeah, all that good stuff. And then if it were outside of my family, I'm trying to think of who I think is the most beautiful. You know who I really liked as a young woman is was Josephine Baker. I thought she was an amazingly beautiful woman, and I know that, you know, there's a lot of controversy around her, but at the time that she was doing, you know, the dancing, the singing, all of that, I just thought she was amazing. Josephine Baker. All right, friends, you've had two ifs, and then you've had my ponderings, and it's Thursday night, soon to be Friday morning when you watch this or after. Please hit the share button, write in the comments, let people know that life is a sacred journey, it matters to you, and you want to keep it around, and then share it. And have a good weekend. Fine, it's going to be a long weekend, and it is Martin Luther King Day on Monday. And I hope that you will remember Martin Luther King not only for his "I Have a Dream" speech, but for the sacrifice of his life, for the speech that he made prior to his death. Please go back and find that speech because there's some incredible words. He had some. He had a vision for poor people, black and white, poor people, unity among that, unity in that topic because poverty, and he was talking to the people in the Appalachians, he was talking to the people in the South, he was talking to the sharecroppers, he was talking to everybody that was living in poverty. And I think that was 2 weeks before he was murdered, assassinated. So learn more than "I have a dream," because he stood for more than that. And to diminish his life just on that sentence and not on the rest of the stuff that he said and did for our country and for the humanity, it's not that's not fair. We need to honor him more. So I want to just say to all of you, Monday is a sacred day. Learn more about Martin Luther King. And, you know, don't just be happy that you don't have to go to work if you don't. But celebrate this man, learn more about him, and listen to some of his other speeches. You can get them on YouTube. All you have to do is look them up. Look up the one, Martin Luther King's last speech before assassination. It'll open your eyes to a paradigm, and you'll understand why he was assassinated. So have a great weekend. If you're somebody out there that is sad, that is feeling anxiety and depression, please pick up the phone and call 988 and get some support and help. We do this at the end of Life is a Sacred Journey every single week. We will never stop doing it because the importance of saving a life means more to me than anything else other than my family, my God, and my practices of meditation, faith, and all of that. 988. Your life matters. Even in this dark moment, even in the moment where you think that moving on or killing yourself would be committing suicide would be better than the pain that you think that you're not only feeling, but that you're giving to others. No, the world won't be better without you. The world needs you. We need you. So please take time to stop. Call 988. Get somebody on the line that will listen, actively listen to you, not tell you what you should do, what you should be, and all that good groovy stuff that everybody does when they think they know more than you. But they'll walk with you. They'll listen to you. And hopefully change your mind about your life. So please dial 988 if you're out there And I also want to share with you, which I also now have right here, so I won't forget. It's the California Youth Crisis Line, 24/7 crisis counseling, anonymous, safe, confidential, and it connects you to services for youth and families. The phone number, 1-800-843-5200. It says you can call, text, or chat. 1-800-843-5200. Youth Crisis Line. If you're an emancipated youth, a foster youth, in a family where things are going wonky, dial that number and get some help. Again, the number is, I just want to make sure, 1-800-843-5200, and they have counselors, it's confidential, and they'll get you the resources that you need. Whew, deep breath. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe wherever you are. Please carry an extra blanket in the trunk of your car. If you have a tent that you haven't used in a long time, put it in the car. And when you drive by a homeless encampment, unsheltered encampment, drop it off. Just drop it off. You don't have to stay. You don't even have to say anything to anybody. If you're feeling a little nervous, take somebody with you, do the buddy system, but a blanket and a tent. A blanket and a tent. So important. Let's reach out and help somebody this weekend so that they stay as warm as humanly possible, as we can make anything warm when you're sleeping on the concrete. All right, friends, go out and hug a tree, pet a cat, pet a dog, hug yourself, smile at your neighbor, and take a chance, as the Holiness Dalai Lama says, and walk across the street and turn your neighbor into a friend. Have a good weekend. Thank you for coming to Life is a Sacred Journey, and thank you for your support. And be hopeful. And I hope I didn't bring you down, but be hopeful. Find the joy, find the laughter in your heart, and be the change that you want to see. Peace.